James Harden, this is really the story in the NBA. Yesterday, he avoided directly answering questions about his future and his desire for a trade out of Houston during his media availability. Here's how that went.
Right now, I'm just focused on being here. Today was good. Yesterday felt really good being out there. The first time since the bubble. I haven't really had an opportunity to do a lot of 5-on-5 work, but for my first time being out there, I think I felt pretty good.
James, what was the point that you were trying to get across when you went to Atlanta and Vegas?
I was just training.
What were you training for?
The start of the NBA season.
How did going to Atlanta and Vegas help you there when the Rockets were starting training camp in Houston?
Just my personal trainers.
So that is how that went. And here's how this is going to go. The one, the only, Rostradamus is back with us, Jalen Rose, because he sees all. He knows what's going to happen here. So, Jalen, welcome back. And let's go right to it. Harden, we had the story on ESPN.com yesterday that painted sort of a bad picture. We know he wants to be traded. How does all of this play out?
So he will eventually get moved. But here's the problem, Greeny. The other night when Daryl Morey in Philadelphia and Sean Marks and the Nets went to bed, they didn't wake up the next morning feeling like we must do what we got to do to get James Harden. He has to do what the Notorious Big once said, stay low, keep firing. If your goal is to get traded from the Houston Rockets, a place where you became an MVP candidate, won the MVP, has been the 3-time scoring champion, one of the elite players in the league, how you help them trade you after they add Christian Wood, after they add DeMarcus Cousins, after they add John Wall, how you help them help you is to show up on time at camp, to be in shape, to talk to the media, to do all of those things that make you just as attractive to the other 29 suitors in the league. When you make yourself a depressed asset, you make it tougher for the team to actually do a deal.
I get that, and I don't disagree with it. And in Hamilton, they said talk less, smile more, and maybe that would apply here as well. But at the end of the day, Jalen, you and I both know, and this guy's a walking 30-point triple-double wherever he goes, and every team in the NBA knows that, right? So there's still going to be people out there that want him.
Absolutely, I agree with you. One of the more unique players that you'll see in the history of the league, Greeny. I mean, the only guy at some point in his career that's going to lead the league in total assists, total points, total threes made, and or total free throws made during a season at some point in their career. Like, he's a fantastic offensive weapon. However, when you're such a great player sometimes, Greeny, it can become an acquired taste depending on the type of superstar that you are. So LeBron James can leave Cleveland, fit in Miami, and then go fit in LA. And obviously he's been around some other terrific players. So can Kevin Durant, OKC. I've seen him and Russ getting 40s and 50s, and then he goes to Golden State. Now he's going to make it work with Kyrie Irving. But James Harden, his style to get that 30 is an acquired taste, Greeny. Mm-hmm. He's going to do a lot of isolations. He's going to do a lot of step backs, and he's going to shoot about 10 to 15 three-pointers a game. And so in order for that to happen, the situation has to be built around you. The Houston Rockets were that. And it let me know that they were moving on. The first play of the game, when he returned, they had John Wall bring the ball up on the first possession, not James Harden.
Yeah, they know he's gone. Super quick, as I bring Louis, well, let me get Louis Riddick into the conversation here. Jalen, Louis is with us here. And Louis, you know, you are a person, again, who you understand the dynamics of team building and front office and all the rest of that. So put yourself in this situation. You've got the superstar. Jalen just pointed out some of the behavior here. He wants out. How are you handling the situation if you're the man in charge?
Well, I mean, communication obviously is always key. And then Jalen, pointed it out perfectly. If you want to get out, if you want me to help you, then you better make sure that you keep your value high so people aren't looking at you and looking at all the negatives that you could potentially bring to their franchise. Now, look, I understand the team building dynamics in basketball is much different. I mean, the players run the league in the NBA. The superstars run the league. They pretty much dictate their own terms. I mean, when you hear people talk about Houston saying, like, everything was set up for him, you don't hear that in the NFL. It's not the same type of thing. It's more about team. It's more about less of me and more of we in the NFL. In the NBA, it's just the opposite. But if you really want to get what you want to get, then you can't have yourself, looking like someone who an organization is going to have to totally go, hey, everyone else that's been here, guess what? We're going to acquire this guy and everything's going to be about him. That's hard to get people to swallow that and be able to be okay with that. So I would be having some serious conversations with him about, look, if you want to get out of here, and quite honestly, as a new GM, I probably want you out of here. Help me help.
Thank you for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming sports and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.